What is going on, folks? I am Goat. Welcome back to Warframe. Hi. So, the Abyss of Dagath dropped, and we got a ton of shit with it. We got Dagath or Dagath or whatever the fuck you want to call her. I'm calling her Dagath just because. But we got Dagath in the Doorclave. We got the Hydroid rework. We got the Companion rework. Yeah, we got a lot. So I want to cover some stuff, right? Like, I want to cover some stuff, and yeah, you're going to see, like, I've been having fun with the Kuvatankor and Kalervo, by the way. But I want to cover companions, first of all. Okay, so, like, where are we sitting with companions? Yes, I know this one is named Tampon. It's a terrible look. I love it. Okay, get over it. So, here's the thing. Aside from the Smita Kavat now not perma-dying, so that means you get a lot more chances at getting your extra loot drops without having to run looter frames, which is always nice. Where do we sit with the rest of the actual animals aside from Vulpophyllus? And the big problem that we have is that they're not great. Okay. The AI, or just I'm going to call it the AI because it's the best thing I can think of. The behavior of the living companions, not the sentinels. The behavior of the living companions is still really stupid. Okay, like basically any companion in this game, including Vulpophyllus, pretty much all have a pre-signed application to go meet Jesus Christ himself, just on a whim. If you go on the steel path, just be prepared for your dogs, your cats, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, all of them. If they go running up to a fucking Xmas, they're just gonna fucking die. That's just kind of what they do. Now, I think Vulpas are still going to be the best critter for right now as far as just general utility function. The Smita obviously has its own function, and now that it's not perma-dying, makes it so much more wanting, like as far as we want to use it. The Adarza and the Vaska, it's whatever. The Kubros, the Predicites, still not great. The Hounds, they're just kind of what they are. I mean, you can make them kind of tanky. They're robo-dogs. They can steal Eximus abilities or disarm enemies. I mean, there's good stuff behind them, and they're not perma-dying, but they're still idiots, okay? Like, they're just general dumbasses. So where does that leave us? It leaves us, honestly, with Vulpophyllus and Sentinels. Now, what Sentinels do we have that are the most useful? Obviously, Carrier is like your looter Sentinel, so it's popping open crates and picking up ammo for you and shit like that. It's a good time. Death Cube with Energy Generator and, like, I think it's Synth Deconstruct, makes to where you can health tank and regen your energy pretty well. Helios is obviously our usual basic scanner that has the non-explosive glaive melee attack weapon. And now that things aren't perma-dying, having an armed sentinel is not such a bad idea. Because aside from Nautilus, one of the reasons I didn't use Nautilus very much is because unarmed sentinels didn't seem to draw much aggro. So running like Helios or Carrier from a scanning perspective, or even Oxalis, when you're doing fishing and things like that. So Oxalis, Helios, and Carrier, as long as they didn't have a weapon, it was more like they were being shot at out of convenience, not as they were drawing aggro, because they weren't actually shooting people. It's the general idea of if something shoots me, I'm going to shoot it back, okay? So when the Sentinels were unarmed, it didn't seem like they were being shot as much. Now it really kind of doesn't matter because they have a very, very short cooldown before they can regen, and it's a good time. So, but Helios is our scanner, Oxalis is our general environmental sentinel, but truthfully, I think Death Cube, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, but after playing with Hydroid Nautilus, man, those are really good. Helios is right there behind him, though. But Death Cube and Nautilus, I think, are in the best place in regards to utility function for our frames. Okay, like Shade, I think Shade is good with, like, Zaku. Because the stolen guns from Zaku aren't considered to be a direct attack from the Tenno, or from the frame. So those things attacking don't seem to be breaking the invisibility as if you were firing your gun. So Shade seems to be good with Zaku, but that's pretty much about it. So, and then even when it comes to Vulpus, I think either the Slides or the Panzers are the better ones. Personally, I like the Panzers just because they do damage. They're like little Sarens. They do damage when they're on 4 legs. I'm very sorry. It's like almost 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like 3:30 in the morning. They do damage when they're on 4 legs, and then they also do the little viral quill things when they're the little larva above your head after they've died. So they're just constantly fucking shit up, and I just really like them, hence why I have like 6 of them. And that's not me trying to be biased, because like the Smita has great function for loot. The Oxalis has specific function. Carrier has specific function, farming, things like that. But for general utility, I think Panzer Vulpaphilas, Nautilus, and Death Cube are really kind of where it's at. And it really comes down to the new Bond mods coupled with, you know, Sentinel-specific preset mods. So until they fix the behavioral traits of these companions, it's great that they're not permadying. But they're still retarded. Okay, like they're still just dumber than a bag of bricks. Okay, I mean, they just run up to the biggest, baddest fucking thing and get themselves killed, and that's just kind of what they do. Now, I do want to show my loadouts, because my loadouts are kind of telling to what things are going on, because obviously we see Kalervo here. Now, normally here as of late, I've actually been running the Exorgist with Kalervo because it's just a good time, because why not? I've got a base damage multi-shot, really angry Riven on this Exorgist, so it's doing a lot of status damage. It's a good time. So, but yeah, I mean, like, this is what I've usually been running with Kalervo, and funny enough, like, the top 0 frames are my Archon-based frames. Not to say that they are bad in any way, because if they were, I wouldn't be using them in Archon hunts. But these are the frames that I pretty much fit any of the given potential missions that are going to pop up. So like Nezha, the Disruption, and then the actual Archon encounter itself. Wisp for the defense, Loki for the spy, Titania for the occasional capture that pops up, and then also the rescue, and then Korra for the excavations. They're just generally very good for these functions. But my lists really start, because like I have used the shit out of all of those frames, but my list really starts like this, okay? Because those other frames are really good. I've used them a bunch, but this is kind of where I want to start the list. And yes, the one behind my head I will kind of show as we go. So Kalervo, right? Kalervo is at the top of my normal usage list. He is probably about the most functional utility frame that is in there. I do want to point out Dagath. I have not settled exactly where she's going to be. I just wanted to put her up higher so I could figure out where the fuck she was at the time. Because I was doing some testing stuff with weapons and builds. So take her location with a grain of salt. But Kalervo, right? He's up at the number 1 spot for me. He's like right now my most used frame next to Lavos. And the build has changed to a Nourish build, and this started as a test build for Kuva Lich Hunting. But this has turned into something absolutely dumb. And it's a mix of range, duration, ability, strength, coupled with the energy regen of Nourish, and then, you know, the viral damage buff is just a nice thing to have from it. But the energy regen is so fucking helpful with this particular setup. Like, as long as you just keep Nourish up and occasionally use, Xenaric's Wellspring, you are basically never going to run out of energy, and you're going to slash proc everything to fucking death. So, I mean, that's where we kind of stand with that. Weapons are really simple. In a lot of these, you're going to see the Tenet Cycron and the Glaive or the Serrata, one of the two. This particular loadout's actually different. Exorgist, Prisma Angstrom, because I've got Rivens on all 3 of these, and the Ceramic Dagger is just OP as fuck on Kalervo. Lavos, we've seen this about a million fucking times. I'm going to cover this quickly. A lot of people ask me how in the hell I keep Lavos alive so much. I will say that I have changed the aura, and the only reason being is because with the Abyss of Dagath, for some reason, health took a minor hit, and it put me at like the 2,000 range. But the two things that, well, there's three parts to why Lavos stays alive in all of my videos, and a lot of people struggle with him. I have a maxed out Arcane Grace, that's part one. Part two, my damage reduction is at 89 fucking %, so I don't take a lot of damage to begin with. And then part three is his first ability. If I start to take damage, I just whip a motherfucker and get my fucking health back. It's just that simple. You know, and then adaptation is stopping or slowing down a shit ton of damage that's trying to kill me. This is it. I mean, that's why he works the way he does. He's very tanky, he's just very fun, and he's just kind of my playstyle. The Trumnus, Cyclone, and Glaive are just like my go-tos for this setup. Revenant is my assassination frame, also my index frame. I mean, a negative crit Riven Fell Arcs coupled with the Cyclone and the Serrata for a pure toxin proc on somebody's health is just generally a good time. Is that the only thing that Revenant can do? Abso-fucking-lutely not. But this is my preferred build. Shepherd, the aura is whatever. You put whatever the fuck you want there. But this is just my preferred build for Revenant, and it works extremely well. And you can put anything you want to where Arcane Nullifier is. Doesn't really matter to me. I just like to know that I'm not going to take any mag procs ever in case I slip up with Mesmer Skin, so there we are. It's really good. But Revenant pretty much just kills any of your normal assassination targets with one or two shots at worst on Steel Path. It's a good time. Hydroid. Look at how high this motherfucker has climbed up. We just saw this build. I'm now running the Strun and the Kuva Twin Stubbas because I got a ribbon for him, and oh my god, is it a good time. But we just saw the build for Hydroid, so we know what it is. Citrine. Unbelievable frame. Swap out her prismatic gem function and put on pillage, and this bitch is a mean bitch. Okay. Latron Prime. I'm running the kunai because I got a Riven, and as you can see by those stats over here, the headshot Incarnate side has gained some stank on it. It's a good time. And then Serrata again. And the reason you're going to see the Serrata, honestly, a lot more than normal is because I ended up getting a 304.2% critical chance based Riven for the Serrata. And I got to tell you, it's like a ×2 toxin proc statistical version of the Glaive. It's like the base Glaive, but OP'd out. It keeps up with the Glaive Prime minus the slash procs. It's very, very powerful with the Riven that I have. But the build for Citrine is very simple. She health tanks, and then she armor strips. It's a good time. It's a very good time. Yeah, Zaku. I mean, Zaku is what Zaku is. He's just generally a really good frame. He steals guns. He locks people down. If you're going to do anything, run Condemn on him. I've been doing this for about 20 fucking months, and this is a hell of a way to do this. You can build up overshields, you armor strip enemies, you steal their guns, you stop all the timers for your abilities, and you kill the fuck out of everything that's near you. It is a really good survivable gameplay. It's just really good. I don't know why I just did that. Protea. I will say I am missing a few shards on here because I've been doing other things. I'm specifically missing 3 ability strength shards, but this build is serviceable as fuck without them. These are based 150% effectiveness on energy orbs because I don't like running out of energy ever. Are they necessary? Absolutely not. You have dispensary. This just makes sure it's like having an extra Arcane Energize. The thing about Protea is that Protea does not like Eximus. Okay, she really doesn't like abilities being cast at her. It's kind of like the taboo thing for her, and silence pretty much shuts all that shit the fuck down. It stops acolytes from casting abilities at you, and it stops Eximus from casting abilities at you. Meanwhile, you're able to pretty much cast abilities to end their existence, so it's a good time. You put whatever you want to. Personally, I am just not a fan of Temporal Anchor, but Grenade Fan, Blaze Artillery, and Dispensary are just good stuff. Yeah, good times. Garuda. Garuda is such a mean bitch, man. She is a mean bitch. The only thing I don't like is Blood Altar. I don't like being statically stuck to a healing location. So I put Gloom on her, slow everybody down to the speed of smell. And then, yeah, just kill them, stay alive. Dread Mirror's great, Bloodletting's great, Seeking Talons, I mean, basically go damage invulnerable and slash proc DOT the shit out of everything, coupled with a really powerful Dread, and then her really powerful Talons, and then the Cyclone's there just to mop up. It's a really, really fun setup. Dagath we just saw. Got the Serrata on there with the Lato Vandal and the Torrid, so not much change there. Hildren, our Shield Maiden of Doom. Aegis Storm is a great squad support function for getting energy orbs, but in the grand scheme of things, you're basically sacrificing the shit out of your own shields to basically bump the hell out of your squad. And personally, the squad can fend for themselves in most days, most times. Don't really care. Thermal Sunder on Hildren is an amazingly good time, and this build does not take much to get to a pure armor strip. Yeah, that's right. Her pillage is at 76%. You only need to be at 82 with corrosive projection to get a pure armor strip, so it's only like 50 kills or so, somewhere in that range. And you're right up there fucking stuff up and ripping their shields down, and she just doesn't like to die. She's just like, no, fuck you, I'm not dying today. Braddon Prime is really good, Furus is really good, obviously Glaive is really good, hell, even the Balefire is a lot of fun. So if you feel like using it, but it's kind of unnecessary, it's just kind of like teasing people at that point. Necros, my overshield health tank. Yeah. Throw Condemn on him, hit Terrify, armor strip, they can't run away, you get overshields, and then kill the shit out of them. Desecrate their bodies to get stuff, specifically using Arcane Blessing and Arcane Energize, and it's just generally a good fucking time. You never run out of energy. You health tank up to the, I want to say 2050 health range. You go up to like, I think it's 1550 or 1650 overshields. And yeah, you just kind of don't die like this. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Dread, Cycron, Glaive Prime. Stynex is missing all of his shards. Poor guy. It's okay. He's still a pure armor strip with no shards on him. Okay? I use Ensnare rather than Axios Javelin because Ensnare, in my opinion, is much more reliable, and you can group enemies to use Final Stand. It's a good time. I mean, you can see, obviously, it's not even at its full function because Intrepid Stand came out after I formed the fucking frame, so... And it's still a pure armor strip, whole lots of energy regen, lots of death. I usually run 3 ability strength mods, or 3 ability strength shards, and then 2 ability duration to help bump. It's what I was doing prior to removing the shards, is 3 basic crimson shards for strength, 2 basic crimson shards for duration, all there to buff Final Stand. Very functional. Exorgist, dual Toxicist, and I will tell you, dual Toxicist coupled with Ensnare is fucking hilarity at its finest. You start shooting people in the head and they all start dying because this thing ricochets and starts throwing toxin procs at people's faces. It's just nothing wrong with that. It's good days. Stynex is in a good place. So we got Octavia, and I'm only going to round out like the top 24, I think, here. But we have Octavia. No need to go over her. She's extremely good. I've already talked about it. Zephyr. This is one you guys don't really see me run very often, and I will explain why. Her low gravity function is what really kind of screws with my personal preference of gameplay, but she is an insanely good frame. Her crowd control function, coupled with her survivability from turbulence, her ability to fly above the crowds and just absolutely nuke everything, and then her tornadoes to just generally destroy life. Zephyr is an extremely powerful frame. Definitely high on the recommendation level, I will tell you that one. The big trick is just getting over her her low gravity function, her wanting to float everywhere. It's kind of a little funky. I use her a lot for ribbon cracking, like, you know, the whole aim gliding, you know, while getting headshots. That's a really easy one to get with her. But in general, it's just, you know, she's really good. I tend to run her with squads more. I am so sorry. I tend to run her with squads more, and that here as of recent, squad play, we just more chit chat than anything. So I've done more of my video shooting solo and all of that, and that's that. So so yeah, but I mean, no, Zephyr is an extremely good frame. I honestly, I should run her more on camera just because she's that damn good. Mesa, there is literally no point in going over this build because she's just unfucking believable, and I showed the build whenever I did the Mastery 30 walkthrough again. Grendel just showed this whole setup. I am running the Tenora Prime and the Serrata with him. Both are Riven as well as the Xylock. It's good time. It's good time. Grendel's in a great place. Gauss is one of those frames, I will tell you, for the love of God, don't subsume anything onto him unless you just feel something about this kit doesn't work. Because once you get used to him, pretty much everything on this kit works so well together. I mean, Mach Rush turns everything into pinballs, kinetic plating is your damage reduction, thermal sunder just basically is pure crowd control and death, and then Redline is here. I'm going to boost a bejesus out of everything that you do, and we're going to let you have a real good time fucking life up. It's a super, super durable setup as long as you just stick to the plan and do your job. Don't need a ton of health, don't need a bunch of shields, just move really fast and kill stuff. It's a great time. It really is. Gauss is so good. He's such a good frame. And then Haro. Haro doesn't, like I've shown the Haro build before. Haro is basically like the priest that wants to kill everybody. He's like totally against the whole thou shalt not kill. He wants to kill everybody with extreme prejudice. So there's that. Now, I think in my next video, I'm going to cover what's happened with Grendel and what's happened with Hydroid. Because in Pablo we trust. Well, actually, we'll go over these last frames before I say that. So Baruch and Gyre both, or Gyre, however you want to pronounce her. Baruch and Gyre are excellent solo frames. Okay, I want to be very specific about that. They are excellent solo frames. They do have a bit of a problem with ability upkeep with squads that just go ham and annihilate everything. Because Baruch and Lul, you want enemies to kind of be there with you so you can put them to sleep and you know, erode the restraint meter. Gyre is kind of in that same thing if you want her third ability to constantly being refreshed with Cathode Grace. Or is it Cathode Current? Whatever the hell the name of that augment is. And in doing so, you need to be getting kills. And if you have squads that just go ham and annihilate everything, that makes it a little bit difficult for the ability upkeep. So I tend to do solo play with both of those frames. Mag, I know I'm going to be called a sacrilegious motherfucker for these next two frames being as low as they are or as high as they are. Mag is one of those frames that I am very much into squad play with, but I don't really do a whole lot of solo play with her. And the thing of it is like, I don't have a great reason for it because she's really good. Like, Mag is insanely good. I mean, she can just mag proc everything, every pun intended because of her name. She can create a bubble that basically makes a motherfucker kill themselves, plus their buddies kill them too, and then pull their buddies in and kill them with their own bullets. Great time. You can crush them for overshields. I mean, you name it, she can do it. It's a good time with Mag. It's just, she's not a frame that I run a ton of because I have a slightly different preference and playstyle, being I like tanky and overly destructive frames that kind of help boost the shit out of my weapons or boost the amount of kills I can put in an area of a large area. And yes, she can do those things, just not quite the way I normally preferred running solo with. Sevagoth, this will be the one that everybody will be like, what in the fuck, why is he so high? I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, because I feel like Sevagoth is highly overlooked. He's like the frame of time forgot. And I think part of the problem is this. His shadow. Okay? His shadow can be very good because of the claws. His shadow is also his Achilles heel because it has such weird movement mechanics. It is not very durable. It is very horrible with energy economy. And it's just like, what the hell? But Sevagoth as a frame is very good. He's like a life and a soul stealer. He slows enemies down, and he just basically kills shit. And then, like I said, steals their life to stay alive. I think Sevagoth is really good. Is he OP as fuck? No, but is he really fucking good? Absolutely is. So, and pardon the amount of forma, I have said this before, I did a goof when I started polarizing him when he first came out. So yes, there's some goofiness in here, which is why there's an Umber forma in there, because I had to fix some shit. Because I wasn't intending on doing that kind of shit, but, you know, such is life. But it works, okay? It absolutely works. I would not normally put 8 forma into a goddamn frame unless I just really believed. But, you know, here we are. So, like, I personally think, like, if Sevagoth didn't have the shadow, and, like, the 4th ability was just the giant fucking claws flying across the map, murdering enemies that had been afflicted with other abilities, I think that would be just as good as not having the shadow. Because the movement mechanics behind it, behind the shadow, and the severe deficiency of energy efficiency with the shadow, I don't like the shadow. I like Sevagoth, I hate the shadow. It's weird. I'm weird. It's okay. Wukong. Again, I'll probably be called a sacrilegious fucking, you know, poser for having Wukong in here. Wukong is an extremely powerful frame, okay? He is not OP as shit, but he is such an easy frame to play. He's highly survivable. He has got insane movement speed, coupled with that being also his healing. He has 3 immortal abilities. He has basically a Spectre that's on call for his first ability. His only negative is his 4th ability. It's still crap. But guess what? Helminth exists. That's where we are with it. It's a good time. So if you don't like his 4th ability, put anything you want to on there. It's a good time. Wukong is a really good frame. Varuna. Varuna is an interesting frame. And the thing of it is that Varuna, I hate Ulfrin's Descent. I really do. I hate her 4th ability. The fact that she has multiple passives and she has multiple abilities that overlap with each other and they all synergize really well. And the thing of it is I don't like Ulfrin's Descent because I don't consider it to be some ultimate ability. I think it's a waste of energy. So what I do is I use Zephyr's Airburst on Helminth, via Helminth, I should say. And then I use Fangs of Roshk and Raksh. I always say that wrong. And that is how I get my stacks without breaking invisibility, and then I start tearing shit up. It's a really good time. And I don't need to go on all fours and do really silly shit. And I mean, the build has not changed. Aside from, well, I mean, hell, I think this is actually the exact build. Excuse me. I think it's the exact build from back when I shot the Varuna video. I mean, this just is what it is. It's health tanking. It's using equilibrium as it should be. This is just a really, really functional, survivable build. She plays off of invisibility, a whole lot of stat procking, and a whole lot of good time. Now, the rest of the frames I'm going to go over in the next video, and I'm going to do some gameplay in that. And my reason for it is because I want to go over what Pablo has done. Okay, Pablo has created a monster with his reworks of Grendel and Hydroid. I want to go over some of these frames that I personally believe should be next on the list for what he's been doing, because honestly, he has become his own worst nightmare in doing what he's done, because we all thought the Grendel rework was good, and we were not incorrect with that. It was great. Pablo did a great job with that. Then Hydroid shows up and it makes the Grendel rework look like dog shit, and it's not. It's just the Hydroid rework is that much better. So we're going to go over that in the next video, because man, I think there's a few frames that could really benefit from some slight polishing all the way to a damn near top to bottom redo. Might piss some people off, I don't know, but we'll cover it in the next video. So folks, I want to thank you very much for watching. As always, we'll catch you in the next one. All right.